There is a real deadline on your hydrangeas this month, but it is probably the opposite of what you think. For most of the hydrangeas in your garden, August is not the last chance to prune them. It is the last chance to stop before you cut off next year's flowers with your own hands. Let me explain what the deadline actually is, because it is genuine and it decides next year's blooms. Right now, in August, most hydrangeas are forming next year's flower buds on the plant. That single fact turns the shears from a helpful tool into a dangerous one, because from this point on, a lot of cutting removes the very flowers you are hoping to see next summer. So the last chance in the title is real. It is just that for several of your plants, the last chance is to put the shears down and leave them alone until the right time comes around. There is a narrow exception, and it is a genuine closing window. On the types that flower on old wood, the only safe time to do any real shaping is in the short stretch right after they finish flowering. For the plants that bloomed earlier in the summer, that window is closing right now, in August. Miss it, and you cannot cut them again without losing flowers until after they bloom next year. So for those, August genuinely is a last chance, and I will show you exactly which ones and how much. So this video walks through the 5 common types of hydrangea, one at a time, and tells you the honest truth about each one this month, whether you can still cut it, whether you should only deadhead it, or whether the right move is to leave it completely alone until winter. Because the answer is different for every one of them, and getting it wrong on the wrong type is exactly how people end up with a healthy green bush and no flowers. 2 of these 5 you should barely touch right now. 2 have a closing window you can still use. And all 5 come down to one distinction that decides everything, which I will explain first, because once you understand it, you will know what to do with any hydrangea in any month, not just these. The shears feel like care. On a hydrangea in August, on the wrong type, they are the single fastest way to wreck next year's display. But first, the one thing that decides all of it, whether your hydrangea flowers on old wood or new wood. Every hydrangea flowers in one of 2 ways, and which one your plant does decides everything about whether you can touch it in August. A hydrangea blooms either on old wood or on new wood. Old wood means the plant forms next year's flower buds late in the current season, in August and September, on the stems standing on the plant right now. Those buds form, and then they wait there through the winter, dormant, until spring opens them. So on an old wood hydrangea, next year's flowers are already being made this month, as tiny buds on the existing stems. Which is exactly why August is so dangerous for these plants. Cut a stem now, and you are cutting off buds that were about to become next summer's flowers. New wood means the plant forms its buds next spring. On fresh growth it is not made yet, and flowers on that new growth the same year. Nothing is waiting on the plant over winter, so a new wood hydrangea has no flower buds on it in August to protect, which changes the whole picture for those types. Here is how that splits your 5. The old wood types are the big leaf, the classic mophead and lace cap, the oak leaf, and the climbing hydrangea. These are the ones setting buds now, the ones where August cutting does real damage, and also the ones with that narrow after-flowering window still worth knowing about. The new wood types are the Panicle, with its cone-shaped flowers, and the smooth hydrangea, the Annabelle type, with the big white balls. These are pruned in late winter. And in August, the honest answer for both is to leave them alone. So, as we go through the 5, keep that split in mind, because it is the whole logic. On the old wood types, August is about a closing window and a lot of restraint. On the new wood types, August is simply not their month, and their real pruning is half a year away. Now, the first type, the most common hydrangea of all, and the one people damage most, the big leaf. Number 1. The big leaf hydrangea, the classic mopheads and lace caps, the blue, pink, and purple ones most people picture. This blooms on old wood, and it is the type people harm most in August, so this is the one to get right. Here is exactly where this plant stands this month. It is forming next year's flower buds right now. On the stems it is carrying, and it will hold those buds through winter. So the honest headline for a big leaf in August is simple. Keep the shears away from the stems. Any stem you shorten now is next year's flowers going into the bin. This is the single most common way people end up with a big, healthy, leafy mophead that stubbornly refuses to bloom, and they almost never connect it to a late summer tidy. There is exactly one thing you can safely do, and it is deadheading. Removing the spent, faded flower heads is fine, because you are only taking the old bloom, not the buds forming lower down the stem. Snip just below the dead flower, above the first pair of healthy leaves, and stop there. That tidies the plant and takes nothing you want to keep. What you must not do is keep going down the stem to reduce the plant size, because that is where the buds are. Now the closing window. Honestly, the proper time to do any real shaping on a big leaf was the few weeks right after it finished flowering, and if your plant bloomed earlier in the summer, that window is closing about now. So if the plant genuinely needs a stem or two removed to relieve crowding, and it is only just finished flowering, you are at the very end of the safe period to do it. Take out no more than a stem or two, cutting the oldest right to the base, and understand you are trading a little of next year's bloom for a healthier plant. Once you move past this window into autumn, that is over until after next year's flowering. For most people with a healthy big leaf though, the honest answer in August is to deadhead it and otherwise leave it completely alone. Now, the second old wood type, and this one is genuinely at its closing window right now, the oak leaf. Number 2. The oak leaf hydrangea, the one with the big oak-shaped leaves that turn brilliant red in autumn, and the cone-shaped white flowers. This is old wood, and it is genuinely at its closing window right now. The oak leaf sets next year's buds in late summer like the big leaf, so the same core rule applies. Its only safe pruning window is right after it finishes flowering, and that window is closing in August, which makes this one a real last chance. If your oak leaf needs anything done, now is the final stretch to do it before the buds are set, and the plant is off limits until after it blooms next year. But here is the honest truth about the oak leaf, and it is different in spirit from the others. This is a plant you should barely prune at all, ever, and not because of timing. The oak leaf's whole beauty is its natural form, its handsome branching shape, its striking peeling bark, and that unbeatable autumn color. Heavy pruning destroys all of it and gives you nothing in return. So even inside this closing window, the right amount of cutting for an oak leaf is very little. What that means in practice: if there is a genuinely wayward branch spoiling the shape, or a stem you need to shorten to keep it out of a path, this closing window right after flowering is the moment to do it, lightly. Take out the odd awkward branch, and that is all. Do not shape it, do not reduce it all over, do not tidy it into something neater than nature made it. An oak leaf left to its own shape is far more beautiful than one that has been cut back, and it flowers better too. So the last chance framing is real for this plant, but the honest advice that comes with it is restraint. Use the closing window only if there is a specific problem to fix, and otherwise let this one be. Dead or damaged wood you can always remove, at any time, but the living shape of an oak leaf is best left alone. Now, a quick word, because knowing which of your hydrangeas you can cut and which you cannot is the whole game this month, and it is exactly what this channel is built on. Quick one, right here, because everything in this video comes down to one question: which hydrangea am I looking at, and what does it need this month? Get that right, and you keep your flowers. Get it wrong, and you cut off a year of blooms without ever knowing you did it. And we are only 2 types in, with 3 still to go, each with its own answer. You should not have to hold all of that in your head standing at the plant, so I made the thing that does it for you. It is called the Hydrangea Mastery Guide, and this exact problem is why it exists. It walks you through recognizing all 6 types, with the identifying features laid out, so you can match your plant with certainty in about 90 seconds. And at the center of it is a prune by type calendar, a simple reference that tells you, for the hydrangea you actually own, when to cut it, when to only deadhead it, and when to leave it completely alone. Everything this video is telling you, in a form you can hold in one hand in the garden. It also clears up the questions that sit right next to pruning, because they trip up the same people. The real reason the color changes, which is not the pH, whatever you were told. The 5 most common myths that cost people a whole season, and the honest limits laid out plainly. 29 pages, $27. An instant PDF you can open on your phone right at the plant, a 7-day money-back guarantee, and the link is in the description at waltgreer.com. And it ends the way this channel always does, with the truth included. 4 of the 6 types cannot change color no matter what you pour on the soil. Fertilizer will never fix a hydrangea that will not bloom. And no pruning technique saves a plant whose buds were killed by cold. A guide that only tells you what to do is only half a guide. Now, the 3rd oldwood type, and this one is your last chance to get it back under control, the climbing hydrangea. Number 3, the climbing hydrangea, the one that scales walls, fences, and trees with flat white lacecap flowers. This is old wood, and August is genuinely your last chance to get it back under control before next year. The climbing hydrangea flowers on old wood, so it too sets next year's buds in late summer, and its safe pruning window is right after it finishes flowering. That window is closing now. So if your climber has been reaching where you do not want it, into gutters, over windows, across a doorway, or simply sprawling off its support, this is the moment to rein it back. In the short stretch, after flowering and before the buds are set. This matters more with a climber than with most hydrangeas, because these plants can become genuinely vigorous once established, and a mature one covering a wall can put on a lot of growth in a season. So the after-flowering trim is really about keeping it in bounds. Cut back the shoots that are overreaching, pull it away from anywhere it should not be, like roof tiles, guttering, or window frames, and shorten the wayward growth to keep it roughly where you want it. Do that now, in this closing window, and you keep the plant tidy without sacrificing next year's flowers. One honest note specific to this plant, especially for anyone whose climber is young. The climbing hydrangea is slow to establish, and it often takes several years before it flowers well. In those early years, it can look like it is doing nothing above ground while it builds its roots. So, if yours is young and not yet flowering, the answer is patience, not pruning. Do not keep cutting it back, trying to force something, because that only delays it further. Let it settle and climb. For an established climber that has filled its space, though, this end of summer window is your real opportunity to control its size for the year. Miss it, and you are either living with the overgrowth until next summer, or cutting off flowers to tame it. Now, the 4th type. And here the honest answer flips completely, because this one you should leave alone right now, the Panicle. Number 4. The Panicle hydrangea, the one with the cone-shaped flower heads, often opening white or lime and aging to pink. Here the honest answer flips completely, because this is new wood, and in August you leave it alone. The Panicle flowers on new wood. On fresh growth it makes next spring, so there are no flower buds sitting on the plant over winter to protect. That is what changes everything for this type. It means the plant does not need protecting from your shears in August the way the old wood types do. But it also means there is nothing useful to gain by cutting it now, and good reasons not to. The proper time to prune a panicle is late winter or early spring, while it is dormant, before it pushes out new growth. That is when a cut does its work, shaping the plant and driving big, strong flower heads on the fresh growth that follows. Pruning it now, in late summer, gets you none of that benefit and carries a real downside. Cutting in late summer can push out soft new growth right as the plant should be slowing down and hardening off for winter, and that tender growth just gets killed by the first frost. So an August cut on a panicle is worse than useless. There is one thing you can do now if you want to, and it is optional. If the spent flower heads are looking tired and you would rather tidy them, you can remove them. But plenty of gardeners deliberately leave the dried cone-shaped heads on a panicle right through winter, because they hold their shape and look genuinely beautiful with frost or snow on them, and they give the winter garden some structure. So deadheading a panicle is purely a matter of taste, not something the plant needs. The real message for the panicle in August is patience. This is a plant that rewards a proper prune, but its moment is half a year away, in late winter. Reach for it now, and you either waste your effort or force growth the cold will kill. Note that it is a late winter job. Leave it be for now and enjoy the flowers, fresh or dried, until then. Now, the fifth and last type, also new wood. Also one to leave alone this month, but with a twist worth planning for, the smooth hydrangea. Number 5. The smooth hydrangea, the Annabelle type, with the huge round white balls on a softer, lower plant. This is also new wood, so like the Panicle, August is not its month, but it comes with a twist worth planning for now. The smooth hydrangea makes its flowers on fresh spring growth, so there are no buds on the plant over winter, and its real pruning time is late winter or early spring while dormant. So the headline is the same as the Panicle. In August, leave it alone. Cutting it now gains you nothing and risks pushing soft growth into the frost. Its moment comes in late winter, and it is one of the most satisfying hydrangeas to prune when that time arrives, because you can cut it back hard, and it responds with a flush of vigorous new stems and big blooms. Here is the twist, and it is why I want you thinking about this plant now even though you are not cutting it. Annabelle is famous for flopping. Those huge, heavy flower heads sit on relatively soft stems, and after rain the whole plant can sprawl to the ground, dropping the blooms in the mud. If that is happening to your smooth hydrangea right now, in August, take note of it, because it tells you how to prune it come late winter. A plant that flops badly is one you will want to prune to a low framework of sturdier, older stems next winter, rather than cutting it right to the ground, because leaving that woodier base gives the new growth something stronger to lean on and holds the blooms up. So the August job for the smooth hydrangea is really observation, not cutting. Watch how it holds itself up this month. If it is standing tall, cutting it lower next winter is fine. If it is flopping all over the place, you know to leave a taller framework when its pruning time comes. Either way, the shears stay in the shed until late winter. And if the flopping is bad enough that it is bothering you right now, the honest fix for this season is not pruning, it is support, discreetly staking or propping the stems to get the blooms up off the ground for the rest of the summer. Now, the one thing you can safely cut on any hydrangea this month, and the rule that keeps you out of trouble when you are unsure. So, across all 5 types, is there anything you can always safely cut in August, whatever you are growing? Yes, one thing. And it overrides every timing rule on this list. Dead, damaged, and diseased wood can come off any hydrangea at any time of year, on any type. Those 3 carry no flower buds worth keeping and only harm the plant, so you never have to wait for a window to remove them. A stem that is clearly dead, a branch snapped by wind, a cane showing disease, take it off whenever you see it, including right now. The timing rules in this video are all about protecting flower buds, and dead wood has none to protect. So a bit of cleanup, removing what is genuinely dead or broken, is always safe and always worth doing. That is the one green light. Everything else this month comes down to the rule that keeps you out of trouble whenever you are not certain. When in doubt, do not cut. Hold on to why that rule works, because it is the whole safety net. A hydrangea that is left unpruned will still flower perfectly well. A hydrangea cut at the wrong time, on the wrong type, may give you nothing next year. Those 2 outcomes are not equal. Leaving a plant alone costs you, at worst, a little tidiness. Cutting it wrongly can cost you the entire display. So when you cannot remember whether your plant is old wood or new wood, and you cannot look it up, the safe choice is always to put the shears down and walk away. That is especially true this month, because August sits right in the danger zone for the old wood types that are setting their buds now. The cost of a wrong cut is at its highest, and the benefit of cutting at all is at its lowest for most of these plants. So August is a month to lean hard toward restraint. Deadhead what needs tidying. Remove what is genuinely dead. Use the closing after flowering window only where there is a real problem to fix. And otherwise, let your hydrangeas be. Doing less is very often the whole secret with this plant, and never more so than right now. Let me pull the whole thing together. Before we finish, send this to one person you know who is out in the garden right now with the shears, tidying up their hydrangeas for the end of summer. Just the link. There is a very real chance they are about to cut off next year's flowers, thinking they are helping, and this video is the thing that stops them. Here is the whole theme. Most of your hydrangeas, the last chance in August, is not the last chance to prune. It is the last chance to stop before you remove next year's buds, which are being set on the plant right now. Run through the 5. The big leaf mophead, deadhead it and nothing more, and use the closing after flowering window only to take a stem or two if it genuinely needs it. The oak leaf, barely touch it at all, but if there is a wayward branch to fix, this closing window is your moment. The climbing hydrangea, this is your real last chance to rein it back into its space before the buds are set. Those 3 are old wood, setting buds now, and August is about a closing window and a lot of restraint. The Panicle and the smooth Annabelle are new wood, and for both the honest answer this month is to leave them alone. Their real pruning is half a year away, in late winter. Cut them now, and you either waste the effort or force soft growth the frost will kill. For the Annabelle, use August to watch how it holds itself up, because a plant that flops now is one to prune to a taller framework come winter. And whatever you grow, you can always remove dead, damaged, or diseased wood. And whenever you are unsure, the safe answer is to put the shears down, because an unpruned hydrangea still flowers, and a wrongly cut one may not. Get that right, and you protect next year's display through the 1 month it is most easily lost. Subscribe, and hit the bell, and stick around. We do this the honest way here in the Forgotten Knowledge Library, which means telling you when the real answer is to stop cutting, not to cut more, and exactly which plant is which. It is free, and it always will be. And drop a comment telling me which hydrangeas you have, and whether you were about to prune one of them this month, because I suspect this video just saved a few people next year's flowers. Next time, another job where the calendar and the plant disagree, and the plant is the one that is right. I will see you in the next one.